I've killed orcs before, you know.
When I was your age, there was no such thing as orcs.
And now? How many have you killed?
Many.
Good.
I would not use such words.
Why not?
It darkens the heart to call dark deeds good. Why are you walking like that? It gives it gives place for evil to thrive inside us. Every war is fought both within and without. Of that, every soldier must be mindful. Welcome to the worst episode of Rings of Power.
Woo! Let's see what the Harfoots are doing.
I really it's a compound fracture, this episode.
Like, that's what the title should be. It's like, hey, did you like that interesting stuff? Let's go back to the Harfoots immediately.
It's almost like they knew, right? Like, they didn't give us the Harfoots for a full episode.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wah, wah. And then they gave us the Harfoots.
Yeah.
It was a terrible cut, too, right? It was was it right after?
I think it's either when
The
she
Queen-
finds Theo or when Isildur gets trapped in the
goes
building.
missing. Yeah.
It's
bad.
The whole post explosion makes no sense. Like, how everybody handles it. Like, because we barely see the orcs, break their chains. There's one when the eruption starts, there's one cut of, them attacking the Númenóreans and freeing themselves. But then I don't know, there's probably 10 of them cuz I feel like they killed most of them in the fight. And so no one fights them. And then the eruption happens, and then they're just gone. The orcs are just gone. Adar's just gone. Galadriel literally walks by somebody that is on fire. It is guys, when you rewatch this episode, I couldn't believe it because she finds Theo and then she's like, "Come on, we have to go." Where are you going?
Why? Where?
Everyone's here. You're not in Los Angeles, some metropolitan cityscaping area. It is a 100-yard village. Everyone's here. Everyone's alive is right there. So I don't know where Galadriel and Theo go off to that they don't end up with Elendil and the Queen and Isildur and them. I don't know. I know they meet up later at the camp, but I'm just like, why did they go their separate ways to get there? Because it seems like they're within arm's reach of each other, and then they just and if they would have said oh my god, I can't see anything through this smoke, or I'm lost, maybe. But the fact that she says to Theo, "Let's go," and then they pan over, and there's a guy army crawling while on fire, 5 feet next to them, and she's just like, "Sucks to suck, dude. Later."
Sucks to suck. So I can be critical. I can find things wrong if I want to, but very rarely do I find myself in the middle of something or fresh eyes after going, "Oh, that is bad." I found redemptive. I liked the last Rise of the Skywalker. There was things that I liked, know? This was the first time in my life that I walked away going, this was trash immediately. And it really is because there's no motivation for Galadriel to walk away besides the fact that she's petulant and she's mad that she caused this and she walks away. But then why take Theo? We were doing the rewatch with our Patreon. Join the Patreon, folks. Just $2 a month. $2. You can hang out with us. I realized the two characters I want to see together the least. Why do I want to see Theo and Galadriel? What is she teaching him? Maybe if the casting was better for Theo, this might have been a little bit more interesting. No shade on this kid doing his darndest, But it's not interesting what they're talking about.
And also, just 5 minutes ago, Galadriel got so triggered by what Adar was saying about the darkness in her heart that she's turning into Morgoth. Like, come
Mm-hmm.
on, stop it.
Mm-hmm.
That she almost kills him. And then she's gonna turn around and be like, "Oh, Theo, you shouldn't want to just kill orcs." What?
She's, you know what? It's because she's an elf. She goes through these like emotional processes really quickly, man. She like learned right
No,
away.
it feels
She
like
bounced back.
she's one of those do as I say, not as I do motherfuckers up in here. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? I can travel to the ends of the earth looking for my revenge, but you shouldn't kill orcs, even though they just like shot your mom through the heart, 10 minutes ago.
Oh my God, 100%.
Like,
So
imagine what Theo has gone through just last night. He was in that bar where they were just straight up murdering people around him. And then, like, his, I don't want to say father figure, but, the old man that he looks up to is the QAnon conspiracist about Sauron. Like, he's had a tough upbringing. He if anything, it feels like they paired up two people that are on the same emotional and like arc.
yeah,
But it's like,
yes.
I'm sorry, a 14-year-old like angsty teen should not be on the same journey as Galadriel. Like this, if you find these two on common ground, you've done something wrong with your show.
Yes, yes, yes. Because it's compound. It's worse with you describing it like that we learn that she's married, right? Like all these lives that she had before. That's just comparing her to a 14-year-old boy and then finding out she like that just bothers me.
Yeah.
To the next level. I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's the only motivating factor for her to walk away. And it's the worst choice they could have made. Why isn't she helping? Why isn't she trying to like fix the wrong? Like, don't show us. Don't show them walking for 2 full days. It's bad. It is very bad.
It is, and it's just, despite even cutting to the Harfoots, just what happens in this episode where you have, we had our criticisms where, the rose-colored glasses came off a little bit about last episode, but it was still, like, well-directed to a certain degree. I enjoyed what happened on screen. You felt the realism of the world and just like this has a lot of stakes to it. And then, for people, I even admitted it, like I had like a little mind lapse. It's like, oh yeah, the Southlands is Mordor. Like, this is how it's formed. This is cool. Like I know like the MacGuffin stuff doesn't make a lot of sense, but in the moment it was a great bait and switch with the hammer and the blood sword. Like I thought that was cool. And I was like, wow, that's what the tunnel was for. Okay, let's go. We're in it now. And then they just slammed on the brakes so hard. And it not even with the Galadriel and Theo stuff, but just that there's no threat of the orcs at all. Like Isildur, of all the people to disappear, we know he's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what they have in store for him. I don't know.
Well, this is something great that Ulrich was bringing up. What is one of our Patreon members and hosts of Geeks with Shields? What is the incentive to leave Isildur in Mordor right now?
I don't like. He's got to meet like exactly what Ulrich said. He's going to meet up with Halbrand because we've been talking about how they're going to overthrow Adar. If they don't kill him off screen or do some rewrites or something like that. But he has no army. He has no anything. And it's not even that he doesn't have an army. He's going up against, the Allfather. Like, even random buff bartender dude is calling him Lord Father. He's fitting in, I will say. He's a good, what was it, David Spade in Coneheads?
Oh.
I know it's
It's
what
been
what a
crazy
shout out.
pull. Crazy
What a shout
out.
But just like David Spade is, the number 2 to the main INS guy who's after the Coneheads, and then at the very end of the movie, they're like, "Oh, we'll give you David Spade to like the aliens," and then at the very end, some Conehead's gonna give like a chart to him. He's like, "I'll take that. He's in a bad mood. Here you go, sir." And then he's like, he immediately knows his role. He's like, "Okay, how do I survive? I got to be a good number 2." And you know what? I respect that.
Okay, if I see Haldrag doing that and then I'm an orc who has like lost my brothers and sisters,
But remember,
I would be
that orc
pissed.
died. That orc died on the tower, remember?
He was the number 2 for sure. That guy. But like, if I see this white dude taking like the role of like, okay, wait, are you an orc? Did you live what we went through, man? But the key alone doing the floodgates, I guess that's right. I was
outside hires, man. Outside hires, they get the jobs. Adar does not promote from within.
Well, he's just such a bootlicker, and it's like actually uncomfortable to watch. And I'm sure that have you ever done theater?
In high school.
Okay, so the theater I've done, whenever I have done it, there's always one scene I've hated performing. And it's the scene that you do it every night, and it doesn't matter if it's easy or hard, 2 lines or 15 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the actor struggle going, Ada, Lord Father, like, because it's such a rough transition to asking him a question and then not getting an answer and then just starting to chant Adar, that it's cringe. But it's cringe on 2 levels, that this guy has fallen in line so much.
That's the thing, is that I think it works because the fact that he is so drinking the Kool-Aid and not, and I don't even think he's a survivor.
Correct, 100%.
Like he literally says it. He's like, well, I'll worship you. We'll follow you, whoever you are. Like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
And I'm sure there's got to be the tiniest tinge of like, my whole village was burned. My home is gone now.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure he's like, I'm going to die if I don't do this. That's a very good pull.
I think he's got to be the only Southlander left that, that
we see. That didn't get like massacred in their major fight or something like that.
And that's the thing, is that I do agree with you, because I'll never forget that in Game of Thrones, spoilers for The Long Night, which is like the biggest, battle episode ever. Like, this is the thing. We're going up against the white, the White King, the Night King. Yeah, it's time. And they're called Dothrakis, and they're horse lords. They're like the Rohirrim.
Oh,
and it's a really cool moment, even though it makes, like, Ulrich will probably freak out if you talk about this, because he's talking about the high ground of the tower. You have like trebuchets and stuff and catapults launching on the enemy, but then you have cavalry charge into that. Makes no sense. And I said that watching, I was like, why are they charging? But it is a really cool shot because it's all at night and they're all carrying torches, and all you see is like all the torches go out. And you're like, oh, they're all dead. But then literally 2 episodes later, they're like, oh yeah, we have like 8,000 Dothraki left. And I could literally hear everyone on the internet go, how? Like, they just appear out of nowhere.
Wow.
And so it is true that unless you see every single member of any faction or anything die on screen, they are legally allowed to be brought back.
I mean, it even happened in last week's episode when they stormed the tower. They decimated so many orcs that I couldn't believe there was enough for another push in the town. Which, that's why it was actually kind of a cool reveal. And even Arondir says that wasn't nearly all of them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I think we don't even have an understanding of like what the orc horde is. I don't know how many Southlanders that now serve Adar actually do live, but I'm sure enough. He didn't send the kids and women in, essentially, to fight the Southlanders, I don't think.
Yeah, I wonder, like, because I don't think there's any men living in Mordor. I think they're, We never got Bert on the podcast, but I really wanted to hear about the Easterlings.
Yeah, there's close. They're close, but no. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll get Bert on. I'd love to have Bert on because I actually not talked anything about the Easterlings. That's interesting.
But yeah, this whole scene and that's the thing is that they don't like film it as mass confusion, mass hysteria going on. It's just poorly filmed. It's just like, because like if they would have been like, we got to get out of here, like, and sprint off on horses and like everyone goes in different directions and we all got to rendezvous somehow, that would have been one thing. No, Galadriel is slowly, monotonously walking with Theo. Like the opening shot is great. Like they caked her face in ash. I was like, this is okay.
Yes.
It's like, this is like some Saving Private Ryan D-Day look, and then it's just boring.
Yeah, you're totally right. Like, give us the buildings that are collapsing. Give us the moment where we see Antimo's dead, poor baby, and like try to save Isildur. And in the fray, you think he's dead, right? Like,
yeah.
And Galadriel's, in the same way in episode 2 when we meet Halbrand, and it's questionable whether he let those people on the raft die or what have you. This is a villain origin story for Galadriel to just walk off.
Just walk away.
See a horse on fire? The horse didn't do shit, by the way. And she didn't she didn't stop to put it out. Or like I know that there's an element of loss that there's just loss here.
Yeah.
She hears people screaming. And she takes this kid away from looking for his mother.
Yeah, she's like, oh, let's go. Your mom's dead.
Immediately.
That's the thing is that they don't, if they had to get out of there, they show one little building collapse. But if they would have shown like orcs going around and like kind of stabbing the dead to make sure they're dead or something like that, or, and suddenly, and they're orcs, they can appear in multitudes out of nowhere. That's literally their MO. But they don't do any of that because the only thing of urgency we happen is like Antimo is dead, and then they try and save some people from a burning building. Isildur gets trapped, and the queen gets blinded. And apparently the queen gets so blinded that she's like, leave him, he's gone, bye! Like, everyone is just like, it's just, when Isildur disappears into nothingness, it's so fast that it's just like, the building's done collapsing. You can, like, there's nothing else, and that's the thing, there's nothing else happening. The Númenóreans don't worry about the orcs. They're not like, oh, we have to get out of here, the orcs are coming. Like, there's no reason to leave. They're not choking on ash. That, like, it's not hard to breathe. Like, there's nothing going on except the fact that they're just like, well, the one thing we didn't plan for, a volcano erupting, happened. I guess we just gotta leave. It's just like they literally hit the reset button and you're going back to your save point in your video game. And you're like, oh,
whoa,
okay.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a rough episode for so many reasons. This is probably the most egregious. And then they do this like hard left into Hardfoots, which no one gives a flying F about.
No.
But I was just like waiting for like one more. If we remember last time we saw Nori and the stranger, she got blasted by his ice arm. And I was like, give us the moment where we see what she saw. Give us the moment where she explains to Poppy why she's scared of him or something. Because Poppy does seem to know that Nori is uncomfortable around him.
Yeah.
Which is killer Sam move, just standing up for her friend. They get to the apple orchard and it's burnt to a crisp. Not anything as we're leading up to it has caught fire, but we're supposed to believe that a volcano rock got shot and just burnt only the orchard. You know what it is? They only spent money on like the hero shots. They didn't spend money on why is it only the apples that are on fire? Why is there only one house? Why am I not seeing surrounding chaos? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
and that's the thing is that it should have been one big apple tree. Like, but the fact that, like, when Nori was talking about, the 100 perils, she should have mentioned, oh, but don't worry, there's one big apple tree we always stop at, and it has the freshest, juiciest apples. Like, you plant the seed, no pun intended, for this big apple tree, or you plant like, hey, our supplies are running low, we gotta get to the apple tree. But out of nowhere, they're just like, oh, our apples are fried, got hit by an asteroid, or the volcanic ash, which I kind of wish we would have done the map thing where how close are the Harfoots to the Southland, because I kind of wish I knew, because I know volcanic explosions are big. They're not that big.
Yes, right.
Okay. But I kind of wish I knew the locations a little bit better. But also, like, talk to me about these things. You're so insistent on all these flashbacks, when the devil women are coming for the stranger, like, oh, don't forget he was in the thing. Okay, cool. So tell me about this big apple tree that everyone's looking forward to, and they're going to refill all of our picnic baskets with. And so that would have been a great moment.
They did tell us that this was the goal, was to get to here.
So this is where they're going.
This is the goal. So they did say, like, there's so many, there's this is what the conversation of peril, when she talks about it, she said that this was the goal.
Get to this orchard.
Yes. Got
it. Okay. Now, then maybe I missed that.
Yeah.
But it just seems that, like, okay, we're here. But then again, like, I don't know, like, to get here, I guess they do say that, like, oh, they're making fires already.
It must be baking, right?
Yeah.
I think my issue with this, like, set is it doesn't look like the place where they would land. Like,
no, it's just an open field.
Yeah,
like, you're little tiny nomads. Like, wouldn't it be like some like hidden glen or something like that? Like a little burrow, like a hill with a hole in it. Like,
oh my god, could you imagine if this was like the precursor to Hobbiton? I know it's a little too close to the south. Come on, genius.
Just something. I don't need like a door on the hill, but just like a hill with like a little cave.
Could you imagine? That'd be genius. So I think that's what my criticism is stemming from. That they just really spent time on the one where the camera's focused, and they didn't worry about the expanse of it all.
Yeah.
Because they did. I guess they're not. They want this to be epic. Then make it epic. Make this whole set burnt to a crisp. Give us the hints of this being former soon to be Hobbiton or whatever. It kind of looks like went a little bit.
I don't know, and the fact that, like, they I guess they're like such a superstitious, like, jittery people that they're like, oh, this is like a bad omen, and they blame it on the stranger again, and it's just like, guys, come on. he's already defended you from wolves. He's helped carry things. Like, he's doing okay.
And to be fair, they didn't blame it on him. They
give him a stern look, and like, oh, the evil tidings, and they all, like, every single Harfoot, like, just stares at him.
Also, it reeks of like Greek gods, where they're like, oh, it hasn't been raining in 25 days, blame Athena,
Yeah.
Like, no, volcanoes go off, but, like, Mr. Brandyfoot, whatever this guy's fucking name is, he's right. He happens to be right that this is an evil man's doing,
Yeah.
But yeah, wrong to just blame the stranger who's helped you guys up to this point.
Quite a bit helpful. After this, again, where it's like they're gonna go ask him for help, but then you see, like, this, and I can't remember what I said, is that the first time when Nori gets blown away by his magic, she should have been like, no, it's okay, you didn't hurt me, I'm fine. But then being cautious about asking him for help, and then the other little Harfoot goes forward like, oh, look at this. And she's like, no, be careful. And then that's when the tree branch falls. And then Nori can be like, okay, that's 2. But it's just like having the same moment repeat just with other people around. It's just like...
Like, how did Nori not go to grab her in the first place? Also, who's letting the little girl stand right there, too?
That's the thing, is that you guys are so superstitious, you're so jittery, you're so afraid of big folk, but then you're all crowding around this 8-foot-tall man while he intensely chants against a brittle, broken tree. Like, this is just... For nomads... They have 0 survival instincts.
Sure.
All of them have 0 survival instincts, like, at all. Like, my cat has 0 survival instincts, but that's because she's an indoor cat, and...
I think you'd be surprised.
But that's the thing, is that, like, when push comes to shove, she'll at least run away.
Yes.
Like, when my roommate grinds his cold brew beans in the morning, she, like, runs. And, she's scared, fight or flight. That's the basic thing. And these Harfoots have neither. They can't fight, and they don't flee when something bad is obviously going to happen. So I just... That's the thing, is that you don't give me comfy hobbits and hobbits smoking weed, eating pumpkins, drinking ale. Okay, maybe we haven't gotten there because they're nomad people. Then show me smart, cunning
Shrewd
Harfoots that know the earth, know how to forage, know how to grow on the go, like, know how to survive, and are smart. Not these dumb, superstitious, I'm gonna take your wheels as soon as things get hard type a-holes that no one likes. Like, there's nothing to root for in these Harfoots.
Yeah.
Like,
That's such a valid and insightful criticism. We have never done this until this series. It's not fun to be like, they should have done this, they should have done that, But
no, it's not at all.
There's so many problems. I'll save this question for when we do our wrap up, because it's better to look back on it after we get all the episodes in there. But it's really making me question, like, why even do it if you're gonna make these kind of big mistakes?
I'm assuming that at the end of season 5, they're gonna wind up in Hobbiton and be like, you know what? We have everything we need here. We don't need to move anymore. We're no longer nomads. Let's dig a hole under this hill, and that's it. That'll be it. That'll
look
be
at this ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding.
It's my 111th birthday. Like,
what if they show us Smeagol?
Oh yeah, what if they meet the river folk?
Because I would imagine there are factions that like splinter off, because like that's how we also went from nomad to hunter gatherers to like farmers. It's like not everyone did it. Not everyone made the decision.
But the ring was in the Anduin for a long
I know.
time. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But honestly, I wouldn't put it past him, and I'd be okay with it. Just do it. If it's Andy Serkis and you have him,
Could you imagine?
That'd be so funny. Like, in the same shitty text that they put, like, 1,000 years later, and then it's just Andy Serkis. But I think that's how it's gonna end. But it's like, you have to make me care about these guys to begin with. And I like Poppy, and that was the frustrating thing for me, is that when we get, the evil wizards show up, and I did like this, where, they're searching for him, obviously. Nori's an idiot, and it's like, oh, he's not even here! Like, oh, yeah. Let me walk up to a police officer and be like, yeah, he's not even here, he went that way. Who went that way?
She's not brave. She's not being brave. I'll tell you that much. This is not a brave moment. You
are a Harfoot. Your gift is to hide. You camouflage your caravans to look like moving grass wheat. The first shot we get of you is from the moose people. Are you guys hiding with your little bush hats on? Do that. Show me that again.
Poppy leaving the bucket, which in a great shot, it's a great shot to like indicate that like Poppy hears something, right? And then takes off when the camera raises and she's not there anymore. Why did she leave the fucking bucket?
The whole point of you is like there's no trace left behind of you. Like, this is the thing, is that you're telling me what these people are and what they do, but you're literally showing me the opposite. You're showing me that they leave traces of themselves for wolves and predators to find. They don't hide or run when they need to. And it's not that like Poppy's like, oh, she's a weird one that is. No, she's just stupid. She's literally like, she should be like, no, I don't mean to be mean, but she would have died by now.
It's great.
Like, she literally would have been picked off by a predator by now in like if this was, you know, like the real world. Because she would have wandered off too far. But we've shown that, like, she smells, like, she sees, in the same shot, there's a mud imprint of a wolf print in the same way that Poppy sees the giant footprint in the mud. Right. And they disappear. So do that. And then you can have the evil wizards, like, pluck her out of the ground or something, like a little plant. And that would have been a great, because it's so funny, because they show them, like, when Poppy's dad has the torch when she puts it out. They're obviously just standing on a hill and they're below them. Like, it's a really bad, like, 2-shot where it's like, no, just have them, like, pluck them out of the ground while they're hiding in their hand. And, like, that will be the size difference right there.
Oh my God.
But after, like, they get a bunch of crops because the stranger spell works. But
they've cast him out because the little.
Well, yeah, they cast him out the day before. Because a dumbass.
Because they're selfish people.
They really are. It's like, you don't go into a construction zone and then get mad at the construction worker when a bar falls on you. Like it's ridiculous. That was like the coolest thing I saw. Not the coolest thing, but a very cool thing I saw in Japan is that anytime I was walking around, there's construction zones. There was one worker just, nope. Like, move away from the thing, like, just making sure no one got hurt. And you don't see that in American construction zones.
No, it's like fend for your, well, and it actually is worse for the actual construction workers. There's like, in Chicago, there's an ad going like, it's not a game, move over. Like,
yeah,
people speed past construction sites on freeways.
No, it's terrifying.
And you know that ad is because people are killed. You know,
for sure, absolutely.
It's wild. But that's cool to know that Japan takes some value in their humans' lives for sure.
Yeah. But then I like the montage of them, you know, stacking, you know, all their groceries, picking the apples.
It's cute. It is. It's sweet.
And it's, again, so it's like, I know you guys can show us that, like, you know, they're putting all this stuff in the caravans, all of it in the caravans, stacking it up. And then that way, when the evil wizards show up, and light them all on fire, oh no, we've lost all of our food. That's as simple as it gets. And it works. It works because, like, you don't have to say, like, anyone says, like, all of our food. No, you literally just saw.
No.
Old gaffer stack it. Like, and I like that. But then this is what pissed me off, is that the next day when they're, you know, sifting through the ashes and stuff, you know, Nori's down in the dumps. People are picking, you know, finding charred this, charred that. And it's Nori's dad that's like, we're Harfoots. Like, come on. And it's like, no, it's not a bad speech. But it's that you literally have Poppy sitting there doing nothing. And this is literally Sam's, what's the place called? Osgiliath speech.
Yes.
This is literally, like, it's like in those stories of old, like, that there's good and it's worth fighting for. That is the speech of the trilogy. Out of a lot of speeches in the trilogy.
That's exactly right.
And you have your Sam, Poppy, right there, who has been orphaned. It has been established that she has gone through some hardships
Probably
as
the
a
most lost
child.
out of all the Harfoots.
Yes. The "We Wait for You" hits her the hardest. It is shown.
It might as well just be for her.
It might as well be. They're like, oh yes, him. Oh yeah, and Poppy's parents. Poppy, stand up. Yeah.
Did you have a younger brother that's also dead?
Yeah. Whole family gone. And so you have that moment right there, and then on top of that, you have that speech. Should have been Poppy, and then you have Nori being like, I'm going after the stranger, and Poppy's coming with me. And then you have her mom go, well, you won't be, what, and I, not without me.
Without me.
That is literally a Sam Gamgee line. That is literally, like, of course you are, and I'm coming with you. That is one of the most popular gifs of all time. Like, you know, like it's like when I go to the bathroom, like, I'll be right back, my cat, and I'm coming with you. Like, like that's literally it. And, you know, Penguin, if you're listening to this, thank you. I don't know what I would do if someone wasn't guarding me while I pee in my 2-bedroom apartment.
It genuinely is true love when
it is.
It is.
She is guarding me, and she is my pee guardian, and I cannot live without it.
You know what, though? That means you have to guard her while she pees, and she's confused why you don't.
I have an enclosed, gated off litter box for her, so she is completely safe and secure.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, okay, you're a good daddy.
Yeah, but it's just
such a good fucking point.
I literally I got up and I was like so frustrated because I like the actress that plays Poppy. I think she's got some good moments. She's got a good singing voice. Like you've established these things.
She's cute.
She's a good Sam. She is a good Sam. And so it's like you have this, and the fact that, you know, the next episode she doesn't go, like, I'm sure she'll show up. I'm sure she'll be like, oh,
she has to. Because they biffed it.
If she doesn't, like, I might give up. I might just give up. Because not because like I'm like, oh, I have to see Poppy. It's just like you just don't get it. You like I don't want to be that guy, but like you have it. You see the formula on the wall, but you can't it's not even like Goodwill Hunting. You can't 2 + 2 = 4 over there. Like
100%. Yes, it's not A Beautiful Mind. The playbook has been written already.
Yes, and that's the thing is that they do the weirdest references in the weirdest places. Like, I'm okay with you referencing the best book to film trilogy in the history of film. Like, it's okay. No one's going to care. In fact, that's what people want. Now, if you overdo it and you're always like, wink, wink, do you get it? Elbow, elbow, then yeah, sure, it's going to get old. But when you have a 1-to-1 Frodo and Sam in your story that you were obviously trying to push because Harfoots, hobbits, we get it, I'm here for it. But then you keep missing why we like Frodo and Sam and why we root for them, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know who you have on your storyboard thing that like hasn't watched this. And I don't want fans on this. I don't need fans on this, but it's just like, I don't understand how a writer or showrunner could look at this and be like, oh yeah, we should have Poppy say this because she's like her best friend and she's gone through a lot and she's like been the kind of resilient, stout one throughout the whole show, which is what we're trying to do because she's the Sam. So I don't know why we're not doing that. We should do that.
I'm more afraid that they pitched these lines to the parents so that Nori felt like they were trying to go, no, Nori needs to feel loved by her parents and accepted here. And I can tell you right now, I don't give a shit about them enough to know what they feel about. They could be the Sackville Bagginses for all I care about. You know?
But, and it's not even that, like, have the old man say that at the very least. Like, I know he does go with them, but it's just like, he's been the crotchety one and the resistant one to the stranger, or have his old hag of a wife say it. But like, I've never gotten the feeling that like her parents don't support her. her parents kind of shake her head and be like, "Oh, we got a curious one over here with Nori," but like they love her.
Yeah, totally.
Like her dad is like always down for the fight. Like her dad's the one that's been the victim here. He's the one that broke his ankle. If
So
anything, it's
true.
Nori's fault he broke his ankle because she wasn't there to raise the tent. So I don't know. It's very, very strange in a lot of ways. But that's where we wrap on the Harfoots for the episode. Is just them going off to find the stranger. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, then luckily we get some good, but the last of the dwarf story for this season.
Real quick, because I was wondering, because like I was like, are they gonna show the evil wizards again? What were your original thoughts on the evil wizards? Like who they were, like what they wanted, like again, I don't know. They're just in two of their appearances. They've shown up and they've wreaked havoc now, and they've shown that they're clearly bad. But like, did you think that they were on the side of the stranger? Like, they're obviously searching for him, but did you think that he was Sauron? Did you think that they were Sauron? Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems like it just is so stretched for time with the Harfoots that they're just putting something in there for it to happen, and it just doesn't work.
So, because I have like no touchstone for what these characters are in the Lord of the Rings lore that I know,
Yeah.
and them coming up in such a mysterious way, and then eventually learning that they're looking basically probably for Sauron, I think it's a waste. I think it's and I remember feeling this at the time, like, well, who the fuck are they, and
Yeah.
why do I care? And I still feel that way. Like, I have no what, who, why? I mean, it makes for some cool sequences. They're interesting looking. I don't care about them, and I didn't then. And you're totally right. It's just like stretch it, stretch it, stretch it, when they could be giving us such juicy like experience and relationship instead.
Yeah.
Like
I don't understand it.
you said this, and I'll just expand the thought for a second. Like, it's not like there aren't good things with the Harfoots. It's not like the problem is like they did such a bad job with them that it's like offending us, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they could have given us some really awesome things, and instead they just created tall women people
Yeah.
as like this outside threat. Yeah, I think the only other thing I think was like they were actually coming to kill the stranger or something. Like
Something, but the fact that, at the very beginning, he does the Firefly Star thing, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna help you find that," and it hasn't been brought up since. Like, not once.
oh well, so when they kick him out, the mayor guy writes the stars down on a piece of paper and gives it to him, and tries to send him to what he think might be a people that could help him get there, but he doesn't know if those people are there anymore in that battle.
I'm just wrong today.
No,
I'm just
you're not
flat out
wrong.
wrong today.
You're not wrong. I've also
No,
seen
but
this
I
3
remember
times.
we were watching this, and then like they're like, "Oh yeah, they kicked him out." I was like, I didn't have my phone on me. I wasn't watching anything else. Like I was like, I don't know.
That's not your fault, I don't think. I think,
But
like,
that's the thing. I don't know. It's like like I feel like the evil wizard should have done something with the stars, like, or seen the paper or something. I don't know. It's just we got one episode left. It's a testament that I truly when they showed up 2 episodes ago or whatever, I'd forgotten about them. I'd forgot that they were a part of
totally.
this show completely, and so I genuinely like as a watcher, I'm like, what does happen with these guys? Because I forgot. I honestly forgot. So I'm curious to see what happens with them, but only because I had forgotten they were in the show to begin with. Like, I don't know. It's so confusing. And especially if you kicked him out and he's not there, then just hide. They can't just hide. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Well, Nori feels bad, and she's thrown him to these ladies are the stranger's wolves. That's the only other thing I thought was I had this like theory that I never expressed, that the reason the stranger entered as a meteor is that he was like cast out, and these are the people he was running from or something like that. So But in reality, it makes sense that they see the meteor and they go, "Oh, he has come back." I don't know why they think that that's how Sauron returns or whatever, or Morgoth. But like, I had this working theory that whoever the stranger was cast out and sent to Earth as a punishment. It makes no sense, and there's no basis for that. Yeah, and Nori's supposed to have her redemptive by standing up and going, "He's not here." Okay, girl. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She should just go after him when she sees that they're there.
Yes. Like, I have to warn him. Like,
You know what? They're silent. Hobbits are silent. Watch them. Give us a Benny Hill chase scene instead. Anyway, yeah, I still don't know what the inclusion of them was or why, and I don't know that we needed it. I don't know what you put in its place, but that's also not my job, is to consider that. So yes, now we're getting to the best part, because it's just Durin being amazing.
it is.
Elrond entreating the King Durin to help them mine Mithril.
And this is where, like, I don't have a problem with the Mithril being the saving grace for the elves. I think that's an interesting storyline. But it's just like, I thought the entire enrichment of Moria was Mithril. Like, that's at least what's established in the movies. And like, we don't need to go into the books. Maybe the history of Moria is deeper and it did have gems and gold and whatever it may be in there. But the line in Fellowship is, the richness of Moria was not in gems or gold, but in Mithril. And then they, in the extended edition at least, like, they're just like veins on the wall. Like, hey, there's some Mithril, there's some Mithril, there's some... Like, it's not a rare substance in Moria. It's only in Moria.
It's in Moria. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just in Khazad-dûm. And so that's why they mined there, and then they got too greedy because they're like, wow, there's a lot of this, let's get it all. Which isn't like a bad thing to do. I don't know, like, I know we've talked a lot about like the Númenórean superior race and like how bad people co-opted the envisioned, like the portrayal of the dwarves and the Hobbit and stuff like that. But it's just like, being greedy isn't a racist sentiment. It's human. Like, have you seen Jeff Bezos? the fact that Amazon Prime now runs ads and they didn't tell anybody? Like, and you have to now upgrade to Amazon Super Prime or whatever it is to have ad-free viewing when you were already paying for ad-free viewing? Like, that's one example. Like, that's one example of how, like, I don't know what enough money is for corporations and mega billionaires, because the limit does not exist, as our great icon Lindsay Lohan once said. I was thinking about that. I was in high school in 2004, and I don't think anyone has ever been hotter for me in a moment than Lindsay Lohan. And Lindsay Lohan, what's her name? Amanda Seyfried, Lacey Chabert, and Rachel McAdams. Possibly the hottest four people have been for me on screen in high school.
How do you even handle that? I didn't even think about that.
It was like, I was sitting next to my girlfriend in a movie theater when they did the Santa outfit, and I was just like, play it cool, play it cool. Like, it was crazy. Like,
what are you supposed to even do?
You can't do anything. You cannot do anything. We did not know how good we had it in Mean Girls 2004.
I mean,
and that movie hit so perfectly.
Looking back on, like, it's all her boobs, that whole movie. Like, it's
crazy.
Wow.
Even when she's, quote unquote, catty hair and the nerd girl, like, she's still wearing like tight shirts. Like, it's like great.
Well, no, she does have that pink. She looks cute in that, though.
That if she can pull an oversized pink polo off, like, undefeated. Lindsay Lohan was undefeated in the early 2000s.
She looked like all the hot girls at my Catholic school. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Insane.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Yeah, 2004, man. I was in high school. It's a high school movie. Hit hard. It's great.
And now all the kids get Sydney Sweeney.
I mean, that's a great not predecessor, but like successor to Amanda Seyfried, because I think Amanda Seyfried's like an actually great actor. Like I don't know if I watched a little bit of that Hulu series she was in, where she played the med person.
This girl, yeah.
Yes, and she was great in that. And Sydney Sweeney seems to be like an actually really good actor.
Oh, I think she's a smoking hottie.
Yes.
No, I think Amanda works a lot too. She works.
She does.
Yeah, she really does. Yeah. Anyway, hot chicks. There we go.
Hot chicks, man. I mean, even speaking of hot chicks, Rachel McAdams, hot chick. That was her. I think that was her introducing Rachel McAdams, was that she was the body Rob Schneider switches into.
Oh, was it really? That's very funny. She actually was on a show. I think American, like this is big for her now. Yes, but she was on a show called Slings and Arrows in Canada.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
was she on Degrassi? Did she do the rite of passage?
I'm sure everyone was. If you're
in Canada, I feel like every Canadian actor was on Degrassi at some point.
At one point, I never could get into that show. It was too slow, and like when anything else was on Nickelodeon, why would I watch that? It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I never watched like any of those melodramas like Dawson's Creek or any of that. Like, I watched The O.C. The O.C. was life changing.
The O.C. was different though. It was
the
different.
O.C. Like I listened to a podcast about it, and it's just like that first season of The O.C. would be literally 4 seasons of Netflix now. Like with how much they do in that first season. It almost like they did too much, but it was such great television they couldn't stop. Like it's like, writing and like the pen is on fire because like, oh my god, and this, and then Marissa O'Dees and Luke's dad is gay, and then Chrismica, and oh my god, this is so good. Like they just like kept going, and it was just like banger after banger after banger episode. It's like, and Oliver like manipulates her and he's on drugs, and then they try and kiss on New Year's Eve. I was like, oh my god, it's so good. Like
Riverdale, I do this every time I talk about it.
That's fair.
Riverdale actually sets the page on fire too. They cover so much ground in one season. You can't that they have
that's why they end up like in different portal dimensions in season 6. Like that's ridiculous.
A fair point. They had to hit the reset button, but it still works. And we were talking about this while we were doing the rewatch too. Riverdale breaks the mold of every TV show and movie ever. And when they find out someone's cheating, they go, "Are you cheating on me?" And they go, "Yes, I am." Or if they kiss somebody, they said, "By the way, I kissed Betty." Like they just go straight to the source.
Wow.
They actually exemplify communicating through your feelings almost at every turn. Because just like you said, yes, they could have stretched it out for a full season that Betty kissed Archie. And it's mentioned in the second scene. And they cook. It's wild. And you know what? I love that because kids did like that show. People communicating.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was just really wowed by that because I did that formula of don't tell your lover that you did this or that you're pregnant for the soap that I did over the summer over the pandemic, which was Heartbeats. I said the whole crux is humans can't communicate.
Nice.
And they're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just tell them. All right. Speaking of not communicating well, Elrond entreats the king, offers 5 generations of gold and game.
500 years.
500 years. And the
crazy
dwarves in the back are like, yeah, fuck yeah, in their stone language. And Elrond's like, don't you be talking that. And
right?
It's great. It's actually
like, I love that. Like they don't give the subtitles for the stone speak or anything. He's just like, no, my word is my bond. Like, and just
it's
kind of shuts them up.
It's awesome.
I loved it.
And they're kind of cool. You brought up this great point. Like, so there is like some bad blood between the elves and the dwarves.
Because he says that, like, why would I trust the word of an elf? Like, he literally says that to his face.
And I would just be like, okay, racist? Like, why? What are you talking about? Like, there's no reason that We just don't know. We just don't know what the history is here. And unless
Yeah.
they're banking on us not knowing the history and they're just going like, no, dwarves and elves have always hated each other. Remember
Yeah.
Gimli and Legolas? Like that could be what they're going for here. But like, I don't like that.
I don't either, but I can kind of, and that's where I say that like they're referencing the weird things from the movie, where it's like, yeah, we're not gonna give Poppy the obvious Sam lines, we're not gonna do Helm's
Right.
Deep references or a good charge, but we're gonna make sure you know that like elves and dwarves don't like each other because the Fellowship movie and like all of the Hobbit movies, like we're just gonna do that. But we're not ever going to explain why they don't like each other. They just don't like each other. And it's like, no, there's a reason, and the reason is like happening on screen right now. Like this is the reason, literally right here. And you could show, like that would have been a great, kind of flip of the script where like you do have like, oh, what's up, elf? But then you have them like kind of laugh and embrace or something like that. And I like,
Totally.
I like the beginning of Durin and Elrond's relationship. That's good, but the fact that like they are friends, they are like he was mad at him, but they overcome with their friendship, and so I don't know. You can have Durin's dad be mad at Elrond like because his son was mad at him or something like that, but it's just like him saying, "Well, why would I ever trust the word of an elf?" It's like I don't know. Do you have a reason not to?
At what point? Like,
Yeah.
where's the history here that? Otherwise,
I,
they really are just what's the word? Just racist is not the right word, but like
discriminatory.
xenophobic.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
It is, and that's the thing is that they don't give a good enough reason. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not trying to dismiss like cave-ins or something like that, but like one cave-in that didn't kill any dwarves, like they do a little bit to show that hey, they're mining, but then they're like, oh, we gotta let the mountain settle. They do a little bit of that, but like you really gotta show me of like what's so dangerous about this mining that like you can't just blow out this whole wall, because that's what they do.
Sure.
They find the little hole, and then in an angle that Elrond cannot see, they show all the mithril down the mine shaft. And then during is it during the second or during the first?
I think it's during the second as the king.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He like shuts it down, and then I don't know what happened with Durin's mother, but the minute that it's again the same beat where you have Durin the second putting up with all this, and he's not even gonna get that mad at his son, except for putting lives in danger. But then the minute his mom gets mentioned in the same way the Númenórean Queen's dad gets mentioned, then he rips off and he's like, you're no longer the prince type stuff. And I'm just like, okay, so what happened with his mom? We're not going to explain that? Nope. And this goes back to me saying that like a lot of season ones now are set up for season twos. And it's like, I'm okay with like, I know we're going to get a season two, but just like, does Durin know about the ball? Does Durin the older know about the Balrog, and he just refuses to tell anyone? Is it like this generational secret that's been passed down from king to king that we're going to get?
They can't tell him until he's actually the king or something like that.
Yeah, like that's part of like the coronation process, which seems really stupid. But it's just like they do not give a good reason at all for them to not mine mithril. Like even so much so, like he says no, and he's like, this is like, you are dooming a people to die. And it's like, oh well, that's just their time. What? That's again, why am I rooting for anyone right now? Yeah, I like Durin and Elrond, but like you're just, this is worse for me. Like showing that the dwarves are greedy and want mithril, this is worse than that. Like, I'd rather have them be like, oh yeah, let's mine some mithril, and then in season 3 or whatever you want to do, they're like, the mithril profits are crazy, but we're making hand over fist, we're trading. Like, do you see my new freaking pool hot tub of my cave over here? Like, it's wild. Like, Playboy ain't got nothing on my grotto. Like, get over here. And then, in season 3 or whatever, they're like, oh, well, we haven't checked over in the East Wing. Oh, we don't go in the East Wing like it had the so-and-so. And then the Balrog comes because they're just like making crazy money. That is okay.
Yeah.
Rather
totally.
than Durin just being like, nah, I think how long have the elves lived? Let me check my watch. A couple thousand years. Yeah, they're good, man. They had a good run.
They're that ruthless. Like they're just trying to give us like this twinge of Game of Thrones somehow, like out for themselves. But I think what you're making me realize is there's like literally no motivation for these choices whatsoever. Not even a hint as to what these choices are. And
Yeah.
it's really hard for us to get behind it. And it is that balance of like, give us something to chew on. Give us something to like understand where they're coming from a little bit.
That's the thing, is that I'm just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, why, outside of one dwarf who is the most fun character in the show, and their friendship has had some of the best scenes in this season, why do I care about them? And it's like, I just don't. And now
Yeah.
he has to know. Like, the more I talk about it, like, it has to be some family secret of the Balrog. But then, we have the infamous scene, which I'm not even, mad about the leaf waking it up or if it was woken up. I'm just like, okay, so it's just down there. They don't like unlock it or uncage it. It's just down there.
Mhm.
So how do we get to a point? This was always my biggest question. How do we get to a point where they mind? Because if there's some cuts, and so maybe they left themselves some wiggle room with the edits of like where the leaf is, but like if the leaf is getting down there, there's openings.
That's
It's
exactly
a straight
right.
shot. It
That's
is a
exactly
straight
right.
drop. So how do we get to a point where they have mined for centuries and generations? We're making chainmail. We're known that Moria is the mithril mine, and the Balrog is just right there.
And to the point where the Balrog expels them and Gimli forgets about it.
Yes.
They know about Durin's Bane maybe, but like, wouldn't you never go back there? What would be the motivation at that point? Yeah, it's a really weird, like, shooting themselves in the foot. Like, are we gonna have a reckoning with the Balrog next season? So then there's maybe, well, I guess the dwarves work fast, so they got maybe a whole, I don't know, 1 year of mithril. I don't know. It's because the Balrog would immediately, based off of where the leaf drops, the Balrog would immediately come up.
Yeah, it seemed like, is it gonna attack tonight? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It seemed like it was a good idea for like the trailer, because I remember that shot being in the trailer.
Sure.
But it was just like, okay, so what do you do with this? Like, show that it's like behind a bar or like cage or prison or something like that, and it can't break free, but that it's surrounded by mithril as well. So like, that's why they're like, oh, we're gonna follow this vein.
Sure.
And then that's how it gets out, because it's surrounded by mithril. It's like in the jackpot of mithril. And that'd be okay. It's like they're so afraid to step on toes, but then they're just making them terrible people. Like, they're just mean. Like, and just
totally.
like, oh, sorry, we don't want to show them as like greedy because some asshole Nazis tried to co-opt them into a terrible stereotype. So instead, they're just going to be a ruthless people that wants to watch another entire race die out and leave the earth.
To be like, actual Nazis.
Like, that's not better.
I'm obviously being hyperbolic, but it's not. Like, it isn't.
It's not that far-fetched. And it's definitely not better. Also, at the very least, it's not a solution to this problem.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is weird choice. Because I'm like, I like the scene where, Elrond, like, it's so good where
there's
like, he's
such
like,
good, there's when they're talking.
There's like those three, Disa, Durin, the third, and Elrond carry this show so hard. And I love the scene where they're talking and he's like, he's like, I don't have anything to forgive. Like, this is not on you. Like, we tried our best and we didn't even, like, I didn't realize that. Do we see the leaf veins disappear before
Yes.
this?
Yes.
We do, right? Okay.
So Namadie, they say goodbye, and it's like, okay, you're gonna die, and Elrond.
No, before this moment. I know in this moment we see but like,
no, we have no idea.
Okay, so why does Gil-galad? Because I thought like they show it in Rivendell. I didn't realize. I forgot that it happened on this table. How does Gil-galad know that they need Mithril?
Zero clue.
Okay.
I think just based off of the lore.
The test that
well, because it's
ran?
the Silmaril light is what they're supposing, that from the Balrog and the elf fight, when basically they're saying Mithril is made from good and evil, essentially.
Okay.
And Gil-galad thinks that because it has the light of the Silmaril baked into it, that this if they were bathed in the Mithril, if it is actually found, that would help them. And then who's the guy at Region, Celebrimbor, test the metal, but they never did put it against the veins.
Because I remember that scene. I just forgot it happened here. I thought Elrond saw it when Gil-galad showed him the tree or something like that, because it's his tiny piece that does it.
Yeah, he didn't wield it and go, look now, and the blight wasn't like pushed back.
Yeah, and I wonder like how much they need, like if they can just like move it along the tree or something. I don't know.
that'd be sick actually.
Yeah, but it is a great scene of them like parting farewell, and then Durin crying, and then them seeing like the physical evidence right there that it works. And do you think he should have gone back to his dad and said that, or is his dad's
already
made his decision?
I think that's the problem. I think that's what we're supposed to like, because the dad already said, I don't give a shit if they die, right?
That's
like,
true. That's very true.
So at this point, it is just basically the relationship is petulant son and mean dad. So I think it makes sense that he would go behind his back here.
No, I'm not like, it's not a criticism, but like if they showed him that, would his dad change his mind? But I guess not. It's definitely shown.
That's what I'm saying. It would just been a repeat of the beat, I think.
Yeah, because like that line that I can't remember the exact line, but he's like my friend is dying, like my friend is drowning, and you're asking me to swat his hand away instead of pulling him on board. Right. And it's like that Durin actor is so good. Like his good. Like his emotional voice is like really great. And then when Elrond and them discover the vein, and then his conversation with his dad where he's like, you're holding me back. Like every single drive of ambition like has to come from you. I can't have any ideas. It's a great father-son moment, and I wish we'd kind of gotten more of that. But it's just like, I don't know. It's such a strange portrayal of the dwarves where you have, I know the stubbornness of the dwarves is one thing, but you can have stubbornness of like, Durin the son has done so much of it where like, yeah, like I'm not going to forgive you. Like we're going to do this whole hammering contest instead of like me like talking with you and all these things. And like, it takes a while for him. Like even with his dad's like, oh, well, he's here for the Mithril. He's like, no, I don't think he is. And then all this thing, like you've shown that. And so you like build the relationship between that. And you can show that like Durin, like the king is like, yeah, we'll mine the Mithril. And then when the Balrog escapes, Gil-galad, who's shown himself to be a pompous ass so far, like that's who he is,
totally
can be like, why did the dwarves do this? They released this Durin's bane, and like Nick, and then that's when you can have like the mixing of histories, where history is like basically who tells the story. Is that, oh, the elves needed us to mine for Mithril, but when we did it, we unleashed the Balrog, but the elves still blame us for unleashing the Balrog. Like, that's perfect. That's literally perfect of, like,
simple.
The disintegration of the relationship of elves and dwarves is, like, they're both pointing the finger at each other when the elves need the dwarves.
Mutual greed.
Yeah. they mutually agreed to do this thing,
Oh,
but
well,
then the
mutual
elves
agreed.
yeah. It's
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just like
no, it's just so frustrating because like I feel like so many times in our review of this show, we've come up with better script ideas than what is actually going on. Where it's just like, yeah, you can have mutually like, yeah, they're gonna mine this together, and then they both need more of it because like the blight keeps coming back, and we need more, and the dwarves need more to sell and to trade with.
and
And
that's
then
exactly my
when
point, that it's not just the dwarves that are greedy. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
and then they can both point the finger at each other when the Balrog comes and be like, well, you did this.
I love
We
that.
mined this for you. Well, you did this because you did the mining. It's like, it's that simple. And that's where the hate comes from. And that's why Gimli doesn't like Legolas. It's something that neither of them were there for, but it doesn't matter.
It's the history of it.
Yeah.
Yep, it's passed down hate, which we in this society.
You've shown it in the Southlanders. You've shown
Hello.
it there. You've shown it in like the Numenorians, where they're gonna take our jobs, which is still the funniest thing. It is absolutely like the fact that they literally use that line when it has been co-opted by South Park so hard is
has it?
Oh, that's literally the entire episode. Is like, it took our jobs, and then by the end of the episode, it's like, it took our derb. Like, it's literally just, it's so great. And the fact that like a Numenorian, the men of all men, is like, well, you have an elf, and he's a blacksmith, but he never rests. It's like, oh my god, this is so bad.
Yeah, we definitely don't need our Lord of the Rings to be a commentary on the world nowadays. We really just don't.
I don't.
The episode ends, or at least the dwarf series ends, with Disa getting pissed. I mean, we get the beautiful. I know
her eyes just like glittering in the the firelight. It's just like, we're gonna mine it for ourselves. Like,
so
I love it.
This is the scene that makes me think she's going to be one of the dwarven kings that gets a ring.
Okay, I could see it.
Yeah, I mean, the dwarves aren't corrupted by it, but I just think like if this series is a promise of anything besides the fact that you can't say rings,
Right.
then we're supposed to be meeting the people that will be receiving these things. So I feel like Disa and Durin are among them. So, and Disa's fucking ruthless here. It's wild.
She protects her man. She protects, like, she's not gonna lose that birthright of him being king. No.
And she deserves it too. Like she's a very, it's Lady M vibes for sure.
Yeah, very Queen Cersei for sure as well.
Totally.
Very Cersei moment in this scene, and I like it. I'm here for it.
And before this, we get the beautiful scene where Durin tells Elrond before the dad finds them, sneaking out late. Durin is going to tell him his secret name, and Elrond's like, "No, I'm not dead yet. Don't tell me yet, brother." And it's just beautiful, and it's
so great. It's really great.
There's redemptive moments, but then it was bittersweet knowing that this was the final episode of dwarf, situations. Now
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot that this is the last time we see them, which is just like such a mistake.
It is. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, there's nothing more for them to do based off of the story that we're telling right now, but at the same time, it's just like you're shooting yourself in the foot and not giving us some of the greatest characters.
Yeah.
Just like, why are we focusing on the Harfoots right now? Yeah. Overall takeaway from this episode?
Well, we didn't. I know we talked a lot about the Numenorians and Southlanders, but we didn't they get back to the survivor camp, and Halbrand is injured. Arondir and Bronwyn are there. They're okay. And basically, like, Elendil's like, I never should have left the elf to drown.
Oh my god.
God, dude, like,
we get one of the worst. We criticized Galadriel's smile.
Yes.
I think maybe I just didn't want to talk about this. But Elendil, when the queen...
His cry face is rough, man.
Oh, boy. That's a mistake. It's a mistake on the showrunners. Get him to do a different emotional take. Just...
something. Like, this is your most reserved person, have him explode with emotion. That's what you do.
Because
And
the other thing that you pointed out that was super cringe when they were referencing the movies was like Elendil basically yelling at the horse, like Brago,
yeah,
because Isildur, he thinks Isildur is dead. He's like, no, you have to come back with us. And I mean, he's already established that talking to the horse in Elvish works, although I guess he's mad at the elf, so he's not going to speak their tongue anymore. I don't
yeah.
know. It's just some rough moments. And his horse face when he's crying was bad. It's not good.
It's not good. And then the queen basically saying like, we're going back to Numenor, but we'll be ready to fight when the time comes for it. It's just like, okay, sure.
Then why leave? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's a lot of like, okay, let's come back and let's and then come back. And you wouldn't leave, I don't think. And also, she should have never gone.
Yeah,
The queen should have never gone.
Nope. But yeah, you have them leave, and then you have Arondir and Galadriel talk, and like, oh, she's gonna go back to Eregion and see what's in store for her. And I don't know. There's like a town that the Southlanders are gonna go to.
Yeah, I guess there's like another part of the town, part of the world that they could go to. This is just the encampment, with basically their triage, kind of.
Yeah.
And there is basically, I guess this is why Galadriel walks away. She's just certain Halbrand is dead. And we don't see Halbrand this entire time. And then we get the reveal that he's been mortally wounded. And
Yeah.
similarly to like Frodo, it's only elf medicine is the only thing that's going to heal him. I knew this when I first watched it. He fucking stabbed himself.
Yeah.
And because he wants to get out of there. And he's such a gaslighter. He's like, I can't leave my people. I can't. It's like.
And this is the thing, is that I can only like this reveal only works this way. It does not work when you examine it for as like a single second. Like I don't think he would have had. I don't know, man. It just doesn't work for me at all. This whole Halbrand reveal that's gonna come next episode. It doesn't work. But it is what it is, and they ride off to Eregion and leave everyone there, and that's kind of the end of like, do we see the Southlanders again, or is that the end of their story as well? Like, she gives Theo her sword, and he holds it up.
I think that's it.
Yes, okay.
The worst person to leave with your sword. The worst.
The absolute worst. Like, he has shown. I know he hugs Arondir, so I guess that's like a little growth. Like, he's no longer racist, but
Daddy.
Basically,
it's cute.
It is a nice moment. I'm not heartless.
No, but you're totally right that it's like he's been it's just like any he's the stepfather that's
the dad that stepped up.
It's too much. It's too much. But yeah, like he's so mortally wounded, but he's walking out of the tent and fine and like bye people, and then gets on the horse and rides. Like now, I did make a meme of this when it first came out. Halbrand is hunched over the horse as they're riding to Eregion, because he's like dying. It's great. But it's
really
such a short moment. Anyway, that's what happens. They're on their way to Eregion for the reveal of a century. By the time they were heading to Eregion, too, it was like, there's no doubt that he's Sauron. Like, that's it. That's what's happening. What I'm looking forward to next episode is that, and I'm just going to put you on it now, Celebrimbor is hot for Halbrand. Hot for him, and it is sexy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not just being horny, Jessica. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it doesn't hold much weight when like 5 times this episode, anytime anyone looked each other in the eyes, like, oh, they should bone. Like, no, they shouldn't.
It's a joke. I guess it's not that funny. Anyway, now, any grand takeaways from this episode?
Well, we forgot the biggest reveal.
Fuck.
What? When Adar's like, well, this is
no
longer the Southlands.
I want to forget this happened.
Like, I couldn't believe they did this. Like, just the cherry on top of this episode was not having anybody say the word Mordor. Is that it just pans away to Mount Doom, and it has Southlands, and then it gets erased, and then in fire writing, Mordor. Oh wait, who did that? Does anyone say it? It's just like does it just change? Like the maps just automatically update? Like I couldn't believe they did that. Where it's just like, I understand you need to 100% convey to the audience what this place is.
Sure.
I get that. Have someone say it. And I'm not saying it would have been better. I don't know how much better. Like, it's a tough thing to do, but Adar has perfected the creepy, quiet talking. So have him just like whisper to himself, Mordor. Like, that's it. That's all you have to do.
You know, what would even have been better is don't answer the question. Wait till next episode, and Halbrand lets it slip that he calls it Mordor. Because my guess is Adar is just fulfilling and taking over Sauron's plans.
Yeah.
So, like, have the moment where Sauron says, or Halbrand says, I was afraid of this, and now Mordor is his. And she goes, what do you mean Mordor? You know what I mean? Like, you have a moment or something where he says it, and then you're like, oh shit. Like, it's actually just insulting, especially on the heels of such a bad episode. And then they might as well have done it in MS Paint.
It really should have been like kid pics, like where you just like draw it with your mouse. Where it's just like, I don't understand. It's like, so who's calling it that? No one says it. Like, you don't have anybody actually say the words. So why is it called Mordor? And is it actually
why
called
wouldn't
Mordor?
an orc come up against, David Spade and say, it's Mordor now, don't you know? Like, sure, let's go. I'd be pissed at this guy taking my job.
Have that symbol that, she's been seeing for the whole time mean the words Mordor. Like, it's an old, orcish word or dark speech word that no one can translate. I'm saying you add something to it. I know it's a map. Like,
okay.
You add something to it. Like, it's just like, you can't just have it fucking written on the screen for nobody. Like,
and it's not like an established trope at this point. They don't, every time they go to they don't go Moria. They don't like.
Yeah.
I think there is a little bit of that, but really
there's
not
that
a lot.
In like the first episode. In the first episode, they're like, oh, we're going to travel to the map to the Southlands. And then that's why I kind of wish, like, if I go back to the first episode, maybe the Harfoots are close by, but they've migrated. So I don't know if they're still close by. But other than the first episode, like, there's no like locations. They're just like, oh, we're with the characters now. We're not in locations. So I don't know. It was very stupid. Final thoughts.
I love that. Perfect dumb. Yeah, it's upsetting how dumb it is. Anyway, you can join us for the watch through of the final episode if you join our Patreon now at patreon.com/podcast of the rings. Just for as low as $2, you could support Ben and I pouring our heart out into this show. Yes. And if our friends are listening to us on their preferred podcast player, what should they do?
Give us 5 stars. That's free. 5 stars, and if you feel like gushing about us, give us a little review. Ooh. That never hurts either.
We'll take it. Yeah. Ben, I do love doing this.
Me too.
Yeah. It's really nice to exercise like my writer's brain too, and kind of be like, ooh, they really biffed it. Like, I was afraid at the beginning when I first watched the series to like criticize it. It deserves to be criticized. And there are some redemptive stuff, but there's some really rough stuff too. So let's just see how they wrap it up in episode 8.
We got one more episode, guys, and then we'll probably do like an overview of the show. And then we got a Q&A episode coming up after that. That's right. So leave us some Q's so we can give you some good A's, baby.
And also shout out to Arsenal Roy 2K, a.k.a. Jesse Gibbons, who is at our $10 tier. So don't forget to do that again.
Nice.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. They're passing it again.
Okay, bye.